Lizzie, who are you going to kick off with?
Well, you know what? I never thought I would say this name
to
you, Mike. But it is the one and only Sharon Osbourne.
Oh, my God. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Am, because I was disappointed. And I was disappointed what she said about my friend Simon Cowell in the Celebrity Big Brother house.
This is the thing Amanda Holden was going on about, right?
And Amanda, as I would, stuck up for her friend and thought it was wrong.
Right.
And Sharon just came back at her with this sort of long list.
She totally rinsed her, didn't she?
Well, I thought it was a bit unfair. Look, we all know what Sharon has done in her career.
I like Sharon Osbourne, I have to say.
Let me tell you, I've been a huge fan of hers, and I was so excited about her going in Celebrity Big Brother house.
Oh, she was good.
But
also, 100,000 a day. I mean,
yes.
you've got to take your hat off to somebody who gets that kind of money.
Well, exactly. It's amazing. I wish I could. But the fact is, I just never think you should be slating your friend who you've worked with.
Yeah.
They've done, great things together. And then Sharon's response to Amanda, when Amanda said to Sharon, look, I don't think it's great that Sharon's been awful about Simon. And Sharon sort of wrote this long list of all the work she'd done.
Yes.
We know Sharon, what she's
and
done.
she has done some incredible stuff in her life. And
amazing.
she said, she didn't need Simon Cowell to make her wealthy, which is true.
Which is very true.
But what does Simon Cowell, he's a friend of yours, what does he have to say about it?
Well, he is a friend of mine, and he loves it because he's being talked about.
Oh, that's what I mean. So he's not been mortally offended by it, has he?
Well, no, he hasn't. But I think underneath he was probably a little bit hurt. But he knows what Louis Walsh is like.
Yeah.
And Louis is always will talk about people, and he does it with a smile.
They were quite brutal. They were.
I didn't really see what they said.
Yeah.
So tell me what they said.
They went into a secret room, and I don't think Louis or Sharon realised that the cameras were still rolling while they're in their secret room.
Even though they were in
and they were laughing about him having. They were laughing about him having surgery. They were laughing about him having always wearing the same T-shirt.
Sam, I'm sorry.
They were like, and it was quite scoffy.
They've all
and
had
rude.
surgery, haven't they?
But I agree, it was quite scoffy and rude.
But look, I'm sorry, I don't think it's an excuse. They're both professionals, been in the business for so long. You know, in that house, the cameras are on the whole entire time.
It was quite foolish to think they weren't.
And it was, I think they slipped up. I think Sharon probably regrets it. She's a bit embarrassed, and that's why she came back at Amanda the way she did. I think it was unnecessary.
And Amanda's gone a bit quiet about it. Like, she didn't really respond to all that, did she?
And I think just being cool, you don't have to answer back. And I thought Sharon was cooler than that. She didn't have to respond to Amanda like that.
You can't have thought, surely, if you've ever seen the Osbournes or any of the reality shows she does, if somebody comes for anyone that she knows, her family or anything, she comes back tenfold.
Yeah. And that's why...
And that's what she did here.
And also Sharon, I mean, I've worked with Sharon, and I mean, she'll say things on air, but she'll say other things off air. So I think if she's going to say something on air, she must know.
Oh, she can do it. Come on now,
Listen,
she can dish it, but she can't take it. Let's be honest.
I don't think that's true.
Look, I'm doing what Sharon would do: stick up for a friend or a family member. Simon, I've known for over 30 years, as Amanda has, and we're sticking up for a mate. And I just don't think it was very fair or kind to do that on a national TV show where so many are watching.
What are you
going
to
do
if she writes a treatise now about you and how you're not in my league, sweetheart? That's what she said.
Well, listen, I will sit back. You know what? I'm not going to respond.
You'll take the lashing.
I'll take the lashing. I take the upper ground.
She's got a mansion in Beverly Hills, and she always has had.
Well, look, but I love Sharon, and I love what she's achieved. We all know
just
that.
put her on Loathe Island, though.
But she didn't need to respond to Amanda Holden the way she did. Amanda was just sticking up for her friend.
Okay.
It was a takedown. I mean, it wasn't grammatically
amazing. It was the most fun I've had reading a story in the papers for a while, actually. But there we are. Who's your first one?
My first person is Suella Braverman, who I'm amazed doesn't have a
universally
hut.
hated.
I'm amazed she doesn't have a hut on the beach already.
I don't hate Suella Braverman, so here's another one that I will disagree with you. But carry on.
Disagree with you.
But carry on.
Well, I mean, there's so much to say. I mean, she broke the ministerial conduct. She broke that for starters. She didn't want to do a speed awareness course with the plebs for starters.
But that's fair enough as well.
But that's fair enough. But also her language that she has used. She talked about an invasion from the boats. I mean, this is dehumanising. Yeah. She talked about
there won't be any invasions going on at Loathe Island.
Exactly.
She talked about the pro-Palestinian marches as hate marches.
Yeah, which is true.
Which they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a large Jewish contingent in them as well, so they can't be hate marches.
Why can't they be hate marches?
I just tell you,
because
Sam,
Jewish people wouldn't go on an anti-Semitic hate march.
I got caught up in one of those marches, and what I was called and shouted at, and I asked for help for the police, and they said they were too scared to help me.
No, they can't help you because there's too many of them. That's the new policing thing. We're not going to get into all that.
We won't get into that.
I would have got them. I wouldn't have stood for that.
The trouble with you is you're putting Suella Braverman in there instead of Hamas. I mean, if you really don't like people, you should send Hamas to Loathe Island.
Well, Hamas is a terrorist organisation rather than... They're
Would you mind telling the BBC that?
They'd take over Loathe Island rather than just live there in the bushes like Suella. But
the people who march in favour of them are not hate marchers. That's right.
But my biggest gripe with Suella is the fact that she was named after Sue Ellen from Dallas, and she couldn't be further from her namesake.
I don't think she's a drinker, is she? She doesn't look like a drinker.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Look, Suella would have done great things, but Rishi never listened. She actually said that. Rishi never listened to her or gave her
Do you know what
a
I thought you
chance.
were going to say? I thought you were talking about Sue Ellen there for a minute.
Sue Ellen, yeah.
It was
my favourite show.
Yeah, it was a great show.
And you're serving some Dallas today, actually.
Well, thank you. I've gone for the Pam look today.
Very good. I like that.
Thank you very much.
You can get in the shower later. Now, what about the fact that some people think Suella Braverman is the truest Conservative in the party, and that actually, if she had been Prime Minister, we would have stopped all this nonsense and the country would be run an awful lot better than it has been.
Well, she's made so many gaffes. She's embarrassed herself non-stop. She's been sacked. She's stabbed other politicians in the back. I'm sure at some point she will, vie for leadership. The same as Penny Mordaunt. The same as Liz Truss.
Kemi Badenoch.
But exactly. But the thing is like you said about Suella, nobody listened to her. That's what Liz Truss said. Nobody listened to her either.
That's another story, Liz Truss. But listen, to leave the HR, Rishi didn't want to.
Liz Truss is on the island already, by the way. I was just checking.
I was going to say, I saw her the other night, and we did
we
did a selfie in the ladies' loo.
Oh no, I saw.
That. Yes,
oh, very nice.
I saw that.
But,
did she offer to sell you a copy of a book?
She didn't. Did.
Yeah, there you go.
they were already in the bargain bin. Did she sign it?
They're in the pound shop. No. But look, I think you're being very cool to put Suella there because she would have actually stopped the boats if she was allowed to, but Rishi wouldn't let her or listen to her.
No, because he wants to stop them. You see, he wants it all for himself.
Exactly.
Don't worry. That's enough about Suella Braverman.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's move on to Wallace Simpson.
Well,
what do you want to put her in there for?
Wallace Simpson. No, many of you may not know who Wallace Simpson is.
That's madness.
A prominent American who stole a member of the royal family.
Yes. Shocking behaviour.
It reminds me of someone, I can't think who.
Yes.
And I'm sure if she was alive today, she'd be selling jam and selling up on
Lizzie.
Netflix.
And also talking about friendship.
Yes.
Maybe doing a podcast.
Well, exactly.
That kind of thing.
And she seemed to go out of her way to cause chaos. She took away the awaiting King, Edward VIII.
Yeah. He abdicated, didn't he?
He did.
He was
in office for.
Yeah, he was in office.
He was actually in office for 326 days.
She bewitched him.
Surely he was abdicating for love, though, no?
She bewitched him and said, "You cannot wear the crown when you're not in love," and pulled him
but
away
you can wear
from
it when you're in bed with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's slightly
was.
sexist to say bewitched? That's a very
Why is it?
Because they
Have you never been bewitched?
Well, not by a lady, no.
Well, no, I know that. That's not what I'm asking.
Or by a gentleman,
Really?
actually.
Well, you haven't lived.
The only bewitched I like is C'est La Vie, the old pop song.
But
no. But what I'm saying is,
what about the show Bewitched?
You're saying that these men are so weak that all they need to do is flash a leg and they'll abdicate their
It's a bit
throne.
It's a bit more than flashing a leg.
Wallace had been married twice before, only wanted rich men, didn't want to
Which
work,
was quite scandalous
and
at the time.
loved publicity.
And was quite scandalous at the time, right?
Yeah.
And of course, did she have a good friend in England that she ghosted before she went to America? By any
very
chance?
nice, by the way.
Yeah.
Great broadcaster.
Did she?
Yes. I mean, the similarities.
And beautiful as
It
well.
reminds me of...
More beautiful than Wallace.
Well, that's it. But
I
look,
think it was a woman who was married to a bloke that played for Preston North End.
That's right.
And I don't know what happened to that woman.
But
Nobody knows.
She wouldn't shut up about it. I heard.
But there's so many similarities.
There are.
But Wallace Simpson makes Meghan Markle look like Mother Teresa.
Were you referring to Meghan Markle?
Megan's already in here, I think.
God.
Yes, I think she's in
Megan's
my
already in
ex-friend.
here, yeah.
But Wallace has a complex personality and really stole our king away.
Yes.
And things could be very different.
Yes.
She caused chaos.
Because if he had been the king, I wonder whether we would never have then had the Queen Elizabeth II.
Exactly. Things would be
because
very,
her
very
father
different.
would never have been king. So it's interesting.
And they actually were banished,
that's a
from
bad
this
thing.
country. They were only allowed back when he passed away. Edward passed away in 1972, and that was the only they were allowed to lay him to rest. He was banished.
But as Mike just said, that could have meant that we didn't have Queen Elizabeth.
It might have
And
meant
she's
that.
our dear Queen.
But, still, Wallace Simpson did a bad
we
thing.
wouldn't have Harry. And don't forget, do you remember Edward and Miss Simpson? He was played by Edward Fox.
Edward Fox, yes.
And now we think maybe Lawrence Fox could play Harry.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
He might have to exert a few changes first.
Yes, he might have to.
A few court cases.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, she really is something like this country's never seen before.
Yeah.
Until now.
Since. Until now. Right, so, Sam, another one for the lefties.
I'm amazed that he doesn't have his own Mara no-go on Loathe Island, Mr. Donald Trump, who...
I got invited there the other day,
To Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go. But I'll tell you about that another time.
You are going to have to go, did you
I am
say?
going to have to go.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If I was invited, I probably would go.
Of course you would.
Well,
Yeah,
just to nick some...
Toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've actually
So
got
Donald Trump, anyway.
So, Donald Trump, where to start? First of all, he's only running for president because in order to stay out of jail. He said that's why he was the...
No, that won't help him, because he'll still go to jail if he's president.
Exactly.
Well, no, because he'll be able to pardon himself.
No, he won't. He'll still go to jail if he's president.
Well, that's number one. Number two,
that's the first one
number
off the
two, he's directly responsible for the repeal of Roe v. Wade, which means that...
No, he isn't.
Yes, yeah. Well, he
is
says
he?
he is. He
Well,
says he
but
is.
he says a lot of things.
He says I got it done.
Well, he didn't.
What he did, he was certainly influential in getting it done.
Yeah,
which
he put a couple of
obviously
justices on the Supreme Court. But
they're all in his thrall. That's the point.
All presidents do that.
Sam,
Joe Biden will do that.
All right, well,
Joe Biden.
So that's 0 for 2, we call that
Trump
in America.
doesn't even know his. Trump
Okay,
knows his own name.
number three. He let's say he loses the election.
He's a nasty man.
If he loses the election, he will say that it's not true, and he could well start a civil war.
Oh, for God's sake. So you want to put him somewhere for something he might do in the future?
No, of course. Well,
right?
that's...
I mean, why don't you just say you don't like him? It's good enough. You don't have to have any other reason.
Trump actually said the war wouldn't happen with the Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, because he would hand Ukraine to Putin. That is why.
Well, Putin was too frightened
and he would pull out of NATO, thereby destabilising the entire world.
They were frightened of Trump.
He would destabilise the entire world.
But Putin didn't invade Ukraine when Trump was president because he was frightened of him, as Lizzie said.
And Joe Biden can't even walk up a set of stairs.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Joe Biden doesn't even know where Ukraine is.
That is not...
He doesn't even know his
Listen,
name.
And also, finally...
Just admit you don't like him.
Finally, he begs his already poor sycophants to give him money so that he can use that money to pay his lawyers. That's not
true either. Because he is allowed to raise money for his campaign, and he's allowed to pay his lawyers.
Why should poor people who he
money
represents?
in his
why would he ask them to give him money when he's a billionaire?
Joe Biden asked people to give him money as well. He's also a millionaire.
Yeah, but
is that wrong?
He's not a billionaire.
Is that wrong?
He's not a billionaire.
Oh, so it's a matter of how much you've got.
Yes.
Oh,
well, maybe.
I think we should put you. I
standards.
think we should put you on Loathe Island for being crap at doing this show.
I think that's very good, Mike. I agree with that.
Now I know where you're going to say the next one, but tell me why.
Well, this one, and
this is shocking, isn't it? It's a shocker.
I am sad to say this.
And it's very sad.
It is our very own Ash Gould.
Yes, shocking. I know why as well, because he nominated, when he was in here...
He nominated...
The unbelievably...
The legend, James Well, who has been honoured with an MBE, and he put him on Loathe Island.
He did.
Can you believe that? Where's the respect?
How ungrateful.
How ungrateful.
Yeah.
You don't
and
put
he's worked with James.
You don't put royalty on Loathe
over
Island.
25 years.
Meghan Markle's in there.
And
Prince Andrew.
And so Prince Andrew as well, yeah.
So exactly. Oh dear.
Don't mention that.
And look, it doesn't matter. Ash now...
He might get on well with Trump, by the way.
Yeah, he'd have a great time.
Yeah.
Ash, barely ever washes his hair or brushes it.
No.
He gate crashes my photo pictures for the shoots.
Right.
And now
he's always interrupting as well.
He's always interrupting and never lets me get a word in
I feel
edgeways.
like you're on a mission of vengeance.
And then he takes poor James to Loathe Island. And he's got an MBE. I thought it was very disrespectful.
It is very disrespectful.
I
was shocked, frankly, because at the end of the day, Ash owes his entire career to James.
Exactly.
He doesn't say that he does, but we all know he does. Everybody knows.
He might not wash, but he never smells, I have to say.
He doesn't. No,
and his hair always looks bouncy and clean.
He used to always have a certain aroma that followed him around, I used to find.
Well, it's true. Oh, but
I don't know if that's still the case.
I found that quite relaxing.
Yes, very true.
I work on the show with them both, and a caller rang in and called them the tortoise and the hare.
Very good.
And I thought it was quite funny.
That is good.
The thing is with
Who
Ash...
would you be in that? Would you be a chicken? A chicken that runs along beside?
Ash, he needs some grooming, and he needs to have a bit of respect for James Well. That has literally made his career.
Indeed, absolutely right. Now, Sam, finally one that I might agree with you on. Let them eat cake.
The Lady Marie Antoinette.
Right. Although apparently she never said that.
No, I think she actually said something like "let them eat buns."
Let them eat brioche.
Well, it's like it's like that
Instead of
sort
a
of thing,
sweet loaf.
like a sweet
Yes,
loaf.
I don't know why you do that. When
So
you say
I mean,
sweet loaf.
Making me hungry.
I don't know why you do that. Yes.
So I mean, first,
Kipling.
I feel a bit bad because she was married to Louis XVI when she was 14, but then
you feel a bit bad about that.
But that was de rigueur. That was de rigueur at the time, and I'm sure her family thought that was great.
Yeah.
But she's obviously the epitome of a royal who has no idea what it's like to be a normal person.
Comparison?
Well, I mean, perhaps she's very much in her ivory tower. The people loathed her. The people loathed her to the max. They said she was promiscuous. They said this. They said that.
Right.
They hated her, and ultimately, of course, she was beheaded at the tender age of 37. So, I mean, she's historical, but I think because of her.
She asked for it.
Yeah, because no, I don't think she asked for it.
Victim blaming.
But I don't think
Shocking.
she didn't go out and speak to the people like some royals did or do.
No, she'd get on well with Madonna, I think, who's also in there.
Yes.
Yeah, they can have a great time.
I love Madge.
God, can you imagine?
Let them have half a pint of real ale down at Wiltshire Way.
Matcha tea.
Well, that was very good. Well done to both of you. Thank you very much. Very lively.
Thank you.
I'm a bit worried about what's going to happen with Sharon Osbourne, but we'll wait and see for that. We might have to get you back next week for round 2.
I don't see why you're not worried about what's going to happen with Ash Gould.
No, but I think Ash is a lot less harmful.
No, Ash will come back on this.
Yeah, he may come back. He may well do. But listen, Lizzie, thank you very much indeed. Sam, thank you very much indeed.